The union is the reason why I'm so close to many of my coworkers. We don't always work together, but my favorite part of organizing was, tapping in one-on-one, having a relationship outside of the day-to-day slog of whatever we're producing, meeting people outside of my department and in different departments that I don't normally interact with. That was a really lovely part of the organizing process. My name is Fiona. I am an employee at Crooked Media and a member of the Crooked Media Workers Union under WGAE.
And I'm happy to be talking to you today. Can you give us a little bit more background about your experience in your workplace and your union?
Yeah, totally. So I joined Crooked in at the end of May of 2022. So I've been there for almost 2 years. And almost immediately after joining as an associate producer, I work on the podcasts there. Um, I was at a work party and some coworkers came up to me and they were like, "Hey, we know that you just got here, but we're trying to start a union and you seem like the kind of person who would be union supportive." And I was like, "You totally read me right. I absolutely am." And that was the beginning of the organizing process for me.
And what led, you and your coworkers to really want to form a union in your workplace? Like what issues were of it, kind of led you to want to organize and stuff like that.
I think, well, first and foremost, a big part of the messaging that we were using when we were rallying people to join the union is more, it's about preventing anything bad from happening, sometimes even more than it is addressing a problem that currently exists. I think a lot of our coworkers were saying, our workplace seems pretty good. We work for a progressive organization. We have good benefits. But we wanted to make sure that we had worker solidarity in place before anything happened to come up. Our company has been getting a lot more bigger investors involved, and that can really change the nature of a startup environment. And we wanted to make sure that we had something in place before more things started changing and potentially more power was leaving our hands.
And what was it like to go through the union organizing process?
Why I'm so close to many of my coworkers. We don't always work together, but my favorite part of organizing was, tapping in one-on-one, having a relationship outside of the day-to-day slog of whatever we're producing, meeting people outside of my department and in different departments that I don't normally interact with. That was a really lovely part of the organizing process. Yeah, so it really, I think, brought our workplace together, and connected people who otherwise would not have been connected. I also think that it was a great opportunity to really put my beliefs in action. I really believe in the solidarity of workers and the power that we can forge together.
And what was one of your biggest takeaways from the organizing process?
Strength in numbers, and also like it's just so important to get your workplace, the workers of the workplace, to gather outside of the office and speak candidly. It brings people closer together. It establishes trust in the day-to-day as well as in union efforts. um I think it really showed me that with time and effort, like a group of people who might not feel like they have power can establish power together. And that's just so exciting and inspiring when I feel like the world is really hard and it's really easy to feel powerless. And, unions are united, it's a true example of the way that we can actually make change if we try.
I know you're involved in the bargaining committee, is that right?
Yeah.
So what are some broad goals for your first union contract?
We want to set higher minimums of pay for the positions in our unit. We want to strengthen our benefits, address some things that we feel like our current benefits don't, strengthen severance for any employees who are laid off. Um, in general, something that we really want is increased transparency from management, more opportunities for career development and a path to growth at the company. Those are some of the biggest things that we are fighting for in our contract.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today, Fiona.
Of course, thank you so much for having me.